I started this voting gauntlet battle like at 57 minutes. And as soon as I finished, the multiplier popped up. I got fucking gypped, man. Ah, fuck. I still totally think Ninian is gonna win Ian. Obviously, of course, by now we know that she beat Male Corrin already. And I think it would be a sweet irony if she were to be able to be female Corrin too. Get a double Corrin KO up in here. Yeah, I still think that Ninian is gonna win Ian. Because at the very current moment, not exactly reflected by the gameplay yet again, because I've got a shitload of clips right now, like a shitload of clips. I think it's like 10 or 12. Fuck. Like, female Corrin has been... She's been enjoying her multiplier for a hot minute. She's been in there for a while. I actually don't remember her or any of the fucking armies being even since the beginning of the goddamn battle. She's been pretty much in the weaker status this whole time. So I guess at this point it's probably up to the multipliers to see who wins again. I get the point of the multipliers, and I won't exactly be salty if female Corrin wins because of the multipliers, but I think now we're heading too far in that direction where we're not actually like winning or losing based off popular vote anymore. It's like when I don't know, it just so happens that a multiplier shows up and one side or the other wins. It's kind of meh at this point. Which, actually, transitions nicely into my next thought, which is a new kind of game mode, either to replace Voting Gauntlet or maybe just release on its own game mode that I just kind of thought of out of nowhere. Just kind of... I didn't exactly iron out any real details, but this is like a thought that I've put down to pen and paper, mostly so I don't forget any important, somewhat detail. So don't take it at like face value, like, oh, how are you gonna do this, or oh, how are you gonna do that? Just take it for what it is, the idea, and how neat it could be if it were put into practice with everything already ironed out. So with that little disclaimer out of the way, I was thinking that this game mode could be more akin to like Seize the Throne kind of mode, where you assault the opposing hero's fortress. So like both heroes will have, you know, their castle, their, you know, abode, they'll be on their throne, you know, and then kind of like Voting Gauntlet, you'll support one army or the other, you know, and then in the actual gameplay where you play in the maps and stuff, they could keep the random heroes as is, but add that you can select a friend's hero as your fourth. So like keep the two random ones, and then you get to pick your fourth from your friends list, giving, you know, friends list a much bigger use than it already has, which would be fantastic. So like when the battle starts, it would start like on even ground in the middle of the battlefield between the two keeps, right? And similar to how Voting Gauntlet is now, you know, the situation would reflect the war that's waging between the two, you know, factions. And then the more supported or stronger army will advance on the opposing hero's fortress by, you know, scoring points similar to Arena or something. Every time you go into battle, just kind of, you know, reflect this between Voting Gauntlet. See how they are similar or maybe improving upon the mechanics. maybe battle flags would be used similar to how stamina is used. So you wouldn't use stamina in Seize the Throne, or whatever this new mode could be called, or something, or maybe new voting gauntlet. You would use battle flags in order to participate in these battles, similar to stamina, or maybe you would just simply use stamina and just get rid of battle flags. I don't know. But, yeah, in battle, you would score points similar to Arena, you know, taking your skill and, you know, into account for points, contributing them to the war effort. And then, similar to the multiplier system, the battles will become more difficult for the advancing army due to the opposing one, you know, being closer to their base and have faster reinforcements, for example. Maybe, as you get closer to the keep, you'll have to fight more enemies. Not necessarily reinforcements in this case, but, like, the difficulty would kind of creep up slightly. Once the assault is successful, for instance, you know, a timer could start, and now you're fighting against the enemy hero in, like, a sort of raid. Maybe kind of like a grand hero battle, but without the survivor condition. They would have, like, reinforcements as you try to deal as much damage as possible to the enemy hero to secure victory points. You know, an entirely different set of points that will essentially be for the purpose of winning said war. So maybe, like, the actual hero themselves wouldn't have HP, but the game would keep track of how much damage you managed to deal, if that makes sense. And then, once the timer expires, some Deus Ex Machina could cause the armies to, like, maybe retreat or something, just generally re-engage at neutral in the middle of the battlefield where they started once again. I'm thinking, like, this could be more engaging than Voting Gauntlet, and maybe even some of the other war modes, too. And kind of reward, you know, the time, skill, and effort put into the mode, and stuff like that. Maybe you could potentially play, like, a co-op version, where maybe you and a friend, maybe instead of that 4th slot, you select a friend who's online, and then you take your character, and then you get, like, a random one of his on, like, the team that he selects. I don't know, really. Just randomized characters, and then you and your friend, you have to, like, work together to beat this map. There could be a way to communicate potentially offline, like maybe when you you pick up your unit, it'll reflect as such on your friend's phone. They can see, you know, like me, for example, I pick up my Ike and I hover him over like a target or something. And then, you know, your friend will see that on their phone. They'll see that your Ike just magically jumped up and it's floating around with your finger or something. And maybe have some sort of pre-con messages ready to go where you could hit a button, it'll pop up a menu, and then a bunch of pre-constructed messages ready to go that you could just hit. You know, like maybe akin to Clash Royale kind of has those things now in their new 2v2 revamp or whatever the fuck. What do you guys think of this? Like, it's pretty much a new game mode. It's pretty much a new game mode that I just thought of. It's like not even close to how Voting Gauntlet is currently. I think if this were to kind of come to fruition in some way, shape, or form, it would end up being a new game mode just because of how completely different it is. instead of like replacing Voting Gauntlet, for example. This was an idea that just kind of came to me while talking to a bunch of you guys in the Discord. It was like, how do we make Voting Gauntlet more engaging? And then the thoughts just took off from there. So I got a lot of you guys to thank for being the inspiration for this entire thing to just come out. So, have a good day, guys. See you next time.